Hey guys, hey, hey guys, in today, in today's live stream, I'm Domino's now. Yeah, so something happened and I turned into Domino's. Something. Something happened and I'm Domino's now. Guys, I'm just joking. You should have seen your face. You thought I was really Domino's. I'm not. Wait. Oh my gosh, guys. Oh no. I think I think something's happening. I think I'm turning into Domino's. Oh my gosh, guys! I'm literally Domino's, guys. Oh no, guys. I think I'm guys, I think I'm gonna be stuck like this forever. You fell for it again! I'm not Domino's! You thought I was Domino's! You thought it! I saw! You thought it! You thought I was Domino's! You thought I was Domino's! I wasn't! All right, guys. So, it's been a second, and I say it's been a second because it's really just been like 2 days since we read the past few chapters of Five Nights at Skibbity Toilet. It's just been a second. And the reason for that is I just had a project I had to work on, some business project. I had to write about Skibbity Toilet and Fortnite and stuff. It was stuff like that. You know, it's kind of like I'm here. I'm going to school for like I'm going to school for stuff. I'm not gonna spoil what my major is, but I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint what my major is. I thought this was iodized salt. Why does it just say plain salt? My name is Jeff. My name is Jeff. Everybody says that their name is Jeff, but it's not true. It's not true. My name is Jeff. You know, I'm here to learn about stuff I want to learn about, and then I have to take these core curriculums like Skibbity Toilet and Fortnite. And there's a whole class. The whole class, we just watch Family Guy clips and we take Cornell notes on it. It's like driving me insane. It's driving me insane. It drives me nuts. But you know, we already did midterms for the freaking Peter Griffin class. Gee whiz, that killed me, dog. But we're already through midterms, and we should be done with school, and we're loving the direction we're going in. We're loving the direction Skibbity Toilet is going in. Skibbity Toilet's actually a surprising one. Not a class I thought I was gonna like. Now I think I might minor in Skibbity Toilet. You know, whatever. Okay, the goal for today's video: eat 4 bananas. I bought these the day before yesterday. Nom nom nom. And I don't really like when bananas get all too ripe. I usually like when they're like right in between super green and yellow. That's usually when I like eating bananas. So we're gonna eat 4 bananas today and hope we don't explode. I think the legal capacity is 10 small bananas. So if we cut these up in half to small banana size, it should just be 8 bananas. So I think I should be fine. That's the legal capacity in Arizona. They got weirder laws over here than they do in Arkansas. That's just kind of the way it goes. But you gotta, give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. I kind of gotta do what I gotta do. I would eat more bananas, but I can't. I'm stalling because Five Nights at Freddy's, we are nearing halfway through it. We'll have this one. Next week's episode will be halfway through the entire book, which is nice. I'm stalling because I don't know why I'm stalling. I'm stalling because I don't want to read, honestly. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to read. Okay, so I've been getting a lot of comments on the main channel that people miss 3 a.m. People miss 3 a.m. And I get it. It's saying I have a viewer. It's saying someone's watching. Who are you? Show yourself! It's saying someone's watching. Is it just like me? What's going on? Show yourself! Show yourself! I don't know who's watching my stream. It's saying someone's watching. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so you guys have been begging me for more 3 a.m. challenges, so we're doing it. Right here, we got another blender. It isn't Blenderhead, which is like, whatever. So remember that video where we blended up 100 feathers? Well, today we're doing something a little more exciting. Yeah. So it's just me. I don't think anything. Oh, sorry. Hold on one second. All right, we're good. This one's going to be a little bit more exciting because it's a lot more high stakes. If something goes wrong with this, I will die. I will die in real life. So today we are going to be blending 3 Domino's pizza napkins. Yeah. We're going to be blending 3 Domino's pizza napkins, seeing what happens. So let's just get into it. Let's put the first one in there. Then we're going to put the second one in there. Okay. No. Let's put the third one. Let's put the third one in there. All right. There it is. Domino's napkins. Then we have to put the blender top on. We're going to put the blender top on. And now, commence blender. All right, let's get back into Five Nights at Freddy's Chapter 9. I don't know why they don't have chapter titles for these. How strange. That's special, I think, right there. I don't think anyone's ever done that before. I don't know why they don't have chapter titles. Thunder rattled Mike's bedroom walls. He heard heavy raining drops rat-a-tat-tat at the window pane behind his black curtains. The brilliant sunlight that had ushered in the day had thrown in the towel when heavy storm clouds had descended on the town just before lunch. Since then, the day had been dark and dreary. Mike's mood had similarly changed. The surge of optimism Mike had felt at the start of the day had diminished as the day had gone on. He wanted it back, and he had a plan to reclaim it. Planting his feet wide on his bouncy mattress, 1 foot close to the edge, Mike reached up and tried to untape his Nebraska poster from the ceiling over his bed. He managed to slide his fingers under one of the edges of the thick paper. "What are you doing?" Abby's voice came right on the heels of another clap of thunder. That's what thunderclap, thunder clap, thunderclap, more like thunder crap. That's more like thunder crap. um, anyway, the combination of the boom and her unexpected appearance startled Mike. He jerked and his foot slipped off the edge of the bed. Mike went tumbling. Boom. His fingers caught a chunk of the poster, and he took the chunk with him to the floor. Having managed to land head and shoulders first, Mike shifted to his rump. Mike shifted to his rump and rubbed his head. He looked toward his doorway. Abby stood just a foot inside Mike's room, dressed in her usual overalls. Today were bright blue. She wore Mike's Freddy Fazbear's security vest. Even though Mike was annoyed by the interruption and his torn poster, he had to admit that Abby looked pretty adorable in the vest. That's cute. Like she was playing dress up, something he'd never seen her do before. Mike massaged his throbbing shoulder. "Ooh, ow, ow. Did you want something?" he asked Abby. Abby looked up at the ceiling, and Mike's gaze followed him. The part of the poster he hadn't just ripped free dangled down toward the bed. The remaining bit read, pining for fun. Pining for fun, because I like the pine. How? So sorry about this, guys. Oh my gosh. Jeez. Sorry about that. Jeez. Ugh. Golly. I hope I don't that doesn't break TOS. Oh my gosh, jeez, I just had like a mini panic attack. Anyway, oh man, where was I? Okay, I might get a community guideline strike for that. Yeah. That was just an email from YouTube. Yeah, it's fine. We can deal with it later. Mike sighed. He pointed at Abby. "All right, come on, take that off. I need to go to work." Abby nodded. "I know. I'm coming with you." Mike grunted and stood. He pressed a hand to his temple. Another headache was coming on. It hadn't just been his collision with the floor. His mood had been spiraling downward all day. And now, even though he had a plan to retrieve the hope he'd felt earlier, he dreaded having to go back to the spooky restaurant. He wasn't up for Abby's games. "Abby, please," Mike said. He held out a hand. "Just give me the vest." Abby didn't move. So Mike walked over and reached for the vest. Abby stepped back. "No!" Abby shouted. Mike really wanted to scream at her. Ah! He hated when she got like this. Summoning what little patience he had available to him, which wasn't much, Mike knelt in front of Abby. He took a second to make sure that when he spoke, he wouldn't explode. Then he said, in what he hoped was a calm but firm tone, "Give me the vest now." Abby made a face. "Oh, ah, hey, everybody!" Then mimicked him. "I'm coming with you." Mike heard the front door bang open. Bang open? Bang open. You know that... You heard it bang open, everybody. You know the sound a door makes when it bangs open? Ow, my ears! Oh no! The bang of the door opening! No, my ears! I'm gonna do it again just in case the laptop didn't pick it up. Ow! Oh no, it's too loud! It's too loud! The bang of the door opening! This book is bad. Yeah, Elijah heard it too. What's up, man? Oh, man. Even from down the hall, the sound of Max's footsteps was clear. The tap-tap was joined by a fluttering noise. Given the thrumming of the rain on the roof overhead, Mike guessed that Max was shaking out her umbrella. "Hello?" Max called out. Abby turned toward the hallway. Mike lunged for her. That's the first Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare in the whole book. It's just Mike like totally shifts character, and he just like lunges out at Max like the puppet. What up, Elijah? You missed it. We blended 3 napkins while you were gone. Oh my gosh. I do need to get to work on my first banana of the day. This is a good VOD. If you want to, you can go back and watch from the start when we're done. It was a pretty good opening. I thought it was pretty funny. Okay. I think I'm a sociopath because I watch my own videos alone by myself on the TV in my room, and I just lose it. I just absolutely lose it. I just love my own videos so much. Anyway, when Maxine heard Abby shriek, she rushed toward the hallway. Looking down the length of the narrow, empty space, Maxine started forward. That's really weird. There's a break in the chapter for that part. So like Mike lunged towards Abby, and then I guess because it goes to Max's POV for it. That kind of makes sense. Was Abby really in trouble, or was she having one of her? Abby screamed again as she did. Mike holding a wildly flailing Abby in his arms stepped into view. So that question was answered. Maxine wiped rain off her face. The umbrella hadn't been much help in the windy storm as she watched Mike carry his sister into her room. Mike set Abby down, and as she spun away from him, he grabbed the vest that she was wearing and put it on. He quickly slammed Abby's door and locked it. Now, did he slam it open or did he slam it shut? Once you establish that a freaking door opening makes a bang, you got to continue with that logic. Come on, man. Internal logic. Banana. Abby continued to caterwaul from within her bedroom. Most of her noise was just general wailing, but mixed in with some impressive, beyond her age swear words, holy moly, and a few scratching opinions of her brother, Maxine agreed with a few of them. Panting, Mike looked down the hall and met Maxine's gaze. "Hey, Max," he said. She lifted a hand, signaling for him to stop. Mike pointed at Abby's closed door. He acted like he couldn't bear any of the insults and yowling reaching through the flimsy wood barrier. "She's all yours," Mike said. Max raised the eyebrow and quirked her lips. "Great." Right. What? Also, look at this freaking break. I don't even think that's like a full page. Why did they break in the middle of the story for that? Or in the middle of the chapter for that? James Banana. I was gonna say it, dude, but I didn't know if you wanted me to broadcast your idea in front of millions of people. My name is Deez. So you're telling me that's not James Bond? You telling me you come here on the day of my wife's wedding? That's the mouse guy from Zootopia. You'll save my daughter. Nobody knows what he is yet. That's true. I think I may have just spoiled it. I love that guy. I still need to watch the freaking Zootopia short about him. That's another thing. If you didn't have Disney Plus when that came out, all those I think there was one gay one, a little bit, which is like whatever. I don't really care about that stuff, but just letting you know, I think there was one like gay one that came out with it, but there was a bunch of Zootopia shorts that came out. I think it was called Zootopia Plus. It was kind of funny. When Mike got to work, he didn't waste his time freaking himself out by looking around the pizzeria. The lobby and hallway looked the same as they had the day before. He assumed everything else was status quo too. And if it wasn't, he didn't know what to do about it. It's kind of nihilist. He's like, well, if I die in this pizzeria, I guess it's fine. As soon as Mike entered the office and closed and locked the door behind him, he didn't bother with moving the filing cabinet. He felt silly for doing it the night before, but he still freaking locks the door. Anyway, he shed his wet jacket and took his backpack into the desk. We shed both our jackets and I hammered brackets. Sorry, Owl City. My name is Deez. My name is Owl Deez. Deezy. Owl City Deez. Anyway, then he made his preparations. Setup didn't take long. Within 10 minutes, Mike was planting his... I don't know what's happening to me. What's wrong with me? This is the most normal thing ever. Oh my gosh. Setup didn't take long. Within 10 minutes, Mike was planting himself in the office desk chair. Once there, Mike swept his gaze over all the monitors. What is going on? What's wrong with me? All the power was on as it could get, and he had a clear view of everything on the monitors, inside and out. A thunder crack assaulted the pizzeria. The building groaned as if in protest. Thunder butt crack, more like. Hey. Mike's attention landed on the main exterior camera. He watched a river of rain water flow out of the parking lot and into the street. Satisfied that all was well within the pizzeria, Mike took his pill, turned on his cassette, and touched his paperback as if it was a talisman. Then he leaned forward and looked at the Nebraska poster, which he'd managed to repair. Shoddily and... Then he leaned forward and looked at the Nebraska poster, which he'd managed to repair shoddily, and taped to the wall opposite the desk. What the crap? They should not have added this shoddily, like in parentheses, because it's totally messing me up. Then he leaned forward and looked at the Nebraska poster, which he'd managed to repair. Parentheses, shoddily, end parentheses, and taped to the wall opposite the desk. I have no idea how you're not supposed to read that without breaking up the flow, so I'm just going to ignore it. Then he leaned forward and looked at the Nebraska poster, which he'd managed to repair, and taped to the wall opposite the desk. See, that's so much more simple. Mike turned up the volume on the cassette player so it could trump the sound of the thunderstorm. Chirping birds, rustling tree branches, a gurgling stream. Mike softened his gaze and allowed the pine trees bisected diagonally by his ineptly repaired tear to sway. As the pine needles shimmied, Mike's Mike's eyes lost their focus. His lids fluttered, then they dropped. The tear mirage, the tear mirage, the tear, the tear, the tear marring the pine trees was gone. What does marring mean? What the crap? Marring. Marring is to impair the appearance or disfigure something. Huh. I now only have 4 more words to collect, and then I will be the smartest man alive. Anyway, my name Dees. Let's get right back to my name Dees. The tear marring the pine trees was gone. They moved seamlessly in the wind, one flowing wave of gauzy green. Mike relaxed into the soothing sounds of the breeze, but he stiffened when thunder muscled its way into the breeze's swishing rhythm. The sun filtered through the trees, began to flicker. Or was that the light in the office? Part of Mike's consciousness was still aware of where he was in his waking sight. But it was hanging on tenuously. In his waking state? Oh, in his waking state. Part of Mike's consciousness was still aware of where he was in his waking state, but it was hanging on tenuously. I only need 5 now. Bro, I'm ahead of you. Figure out what marrying means. Figure it out, dog. Figure it out. I'm not helping you. That definition I said on stream, that was a fake one. I actually know what marrying means. Mike, determined to fall into the reality of pine forest, blurred all the sounds he was hearing. He wove the thunder into creaking tree branches, and when he heard a crackling hiss and pop, he braided that staticky sound into the crackle of bristling pine needles. The sun, for 1 second, bathed Mike's face in warmth and then disappeared again, letting cool shade slip over him, in and out. The light blinked. The confusion of sound continued, and Mike frowned. So one thing interesting here is that in his dream state, Mike turns like thunder into the sound of trees and the camera static into the sound of leaves, right? So he's turning sounds from the outside world into sounds from his dream. Now, Elijah, I'll probably just be talking to myself because I don't know if you'll know what I'm talking about when I say this. When the crying child dies, Dave, I think his name is Dave. That's the name I'm going for. Dave. When Dave dies in Fnaf 4, psychic friend Fredbear says, I will put you back together. The only thing is, those words are a different color than the rest of psychic friend Fredbear's text throughout the game. Psychic friend Fredbear is like the crying child, Dave's imaginary friend. Right. So maybe it's someone in the outside world, in the crying child's waking state, saying that to him, and it's just his brain turning what he's hearing into psychic friend Fredbear. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway. The sun, for 1 second, bathed Mike's face in warmth, and then disappeared again, letting cool shade slip over him. In and out, the light blinked. The confusion of sounds continued, and Mike frowned. Aww, poor Mike. Poor Mike. What was the lower sound off in the distance? Was that music? Mike's awareness succumbed to the fog of sleep. he found himself in a series of quick take impressions. It is very interesting. An orange toy plane flies through the air. Ketchup spurts. Tires spin on gravel. Mike runs, shoving aside branches that slap at his face. Mike pounds through the forest. His movements are familiar, practice, but something strange about them. Bursting out of the trees, Mike looks down the road just in time to see the black car disappear. Why does the black car look different? Childish laughter bubbles behind Mike. He turns. As Mike rotates around, his gaze drops. He jerks into a surprise as he realizes he's looking down at his adult body. This is different, but the children aren't. Mike looks at the 5 children. They're just as they were the last time he saw them. Mike watches the children, but he doesn't approach them. They watch him in return. What now? Understanding clearly that he's in his dream, but that it is diverging from its norm, Mike hesitates. Then he speaks. Please, Mike says to the children, don't run. I just want to know what you saw. The blonde the blonde boy narrows his cold blue eyes at Mike. His upper lip lifts into a semi-sneer. I'm begging you, Mike says. Who took my brother? The blonde boy's expression doesn't change. The other children ignore Mike. Mike runs a hand through his hair. Frustrating. Why won't the kids tell him anything? He takes a step forward. He raises his voice. Who took Garrett? Mike shouts, spooks the children. They bolt. No, Mike yells. Facing the same situation that he was in before, Mike makes an instant decision this time. He chases the boy with the paper hook. Uh-oh! He chases the boy with the paper hook. Now that Mike is adult-sized, he can easily outrun the small child. The boy has reddish hair, and Mike keeps his gaze locked on that hair as he runs. Even racing over the forest's uneven ground, Mike quickly closes the distance. Almost upon the boy, Mike reaches for the kid's shoulder. The boy spins around. Suddenly, Mike sees a flash of silver. The paper hook is scything through the air. Something sharp stings at Mike's arm. He staggers back, stunned. Mike looks down at his arm. His shirtless gapes open up. His shirt sleeve gapes open up. The material is slashed apart. A narrow ribbon of red appears on Mike's skin. Shocked, Mike looks back at the red-haired boy. The boy whose freckled face has a pert little nose and soft cheeks. Looks up at Mike with staggering, fearsome green eyes. The boy opens his mouth and unleashes a distorted mechanical shriek. Mike recoils. Interesting. Okay, so a few things here. So the way the shriek is described here, it makes it sound like the jump scare sound from the game. It's a mechanical shriek, which, they didn't add to the movie because they were dead set on not adding any jump scares to the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which makes a lot of sense, actually, if you think about it. It actually makes a lot of sense. And an inclusion in the book that I do not like, he has just green eyes. He doesn't have, like, the tear tracks coming down his eyes in black. He just looks at Mike, and he has green eyes. Could be a thing. You tell me, does Foxy have green eyes? Let me know. I don't know. Let's see. That's black and white. I swear I'm not that colorblind. Hey! Foxy. Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh, is this where you wanna be? You heard, me bird likes ya, so I'll do ye a favor. Okay, let me stream snare this. I'm reporting you right now. Stream sniping. Elijah, tell me if this dude's eyes are green. Because that would make a lot more sense. But at the exact same time, what's the point of this kid's eyes being green? If one of his eyes are covered up, it would have been cool if he jump scared Mike and like one of his eyes on. By the way, this is something I noticed with the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Oh shoot, this is something I noticed with the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. It's that Foxy's kind of a little goated. He's like a little. They look yellow to you. Yeah, I don't know, man. Springtrap is green, which is something I did not know. I just found out about this the other day. Springtrap is green. Look, I just thought he was yellow, because like he's like Golden Freddy's counterpart, and so I just always assumed he was yellow. And then someone told me green the other day. Very, very weird. Anywho. Yeah, that's interesting. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Foxy is has way too many interesting features about him. Because in the movie, he's the only real animatronic. He's like sewer yellow green, yeah. That makes sense. He was like locked in a building for how long? I'm a believer that Fnaf 3 is in 2015. Let's see. He was in that building. Fnaf 1 is in the 90s or like 1989. So he was trapped in that building for like 20 years, just in the suit. So it makes sense why it'd be green. Yeah. Foxy's a little too goated. It's kind of annoying. It's kind of distracting in the movie too. Like Chica, I guess she has the cupcake. I guess. But even then, like the cupcake is like its own character. By the way, I freaking hate that cupcake. I hate the cupcake. The fact that like the whole movie is basically like the Foxy and Cupcake movie featuring Chica, Bonnie, and Freddy is so annoying, man. They did not do nearly enough cool stuff with all these characters. Like in the games, Freddy is like the scary one. Because he's like the main boss of the game. Like he hides in shadows. You never see him like directly. But when you look at the cameras, he's always like sort of off in the corner. And then you cut to the freaking movie where he chomps that girl, which is a great scene. Best scene of the movie. For real. And I haven't even played the games, right? I'm really the thing is, I'm upset because I feel like not every character got a chance to shine in this movie, and there were 5 animatronics in this movie. Balloon Boy got more jump scares than any of the animatronics in this movie. How much sense does that make? He was like this big. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, what worries me about the second movie, and they said they heard the criticism, they're gonna make it scarier, which I'm excited for. The thing about the second movie is that there's like, you got the toys, you got the Wizards, you have Golden Freddy, and you have the puppet. So that's like 8 characters right there. You also have the real Balloon Boy. If they freaking add Dee Dee, which I hope they don't. There's a lot of weird side characters in FNAF 2. So they got Endo 02, which they probably will just like have as a cameo. That's just like the endoskeleton. They also have the shadow animatronics, which is like, how are they going to explain that? We don't even know what the shadow animatronics are. Not scary. FNAF is like all the annoying humans on Sonic. It's kind of true. It's kind of true a little bit. I like the FNAF movie for the aesthetics of it a lot. I think the writing is not good. I think it is not scary. I think the animatronics are fantastic at times, but at its worst, they look like people in costumes. Also, the design of the characters are not scary, not even a little bit. I would sooner have all the FNAF animatron, all 5 of the FNAF animatronics from the movie come over to my house for a tea party. Then I would have even one of the FNAF animatronics from the first game be in my house, because those things are so scary, dude. I don't know, man. I'm excited for the next movie. Toy Freddy looks cool. FNAF 2 movie images. Let's do this. I know I'm stalling a bit. This is definitely going to be a lot longer live stream, but that's fine. You know, I haven't streamed in a second. It's been like 2 days saying I haven't streamed in a second. So these aren't real. These aren't real. This is real, however. He looks good for the game. Like, he just looks like a render from the game. But I believe this is I believe that's a real animatronic. Same with Toy Bonnie. I've always thought Toy Bonnie is creepy. I personally have always thought Toy Bonnie is creepy. Personally, I've always thought he was creepy. What else? What else have we got? Markiplier. We got this. That's kind of nothing. Yeah, we don't have too many images. We have some images, but none of like the animatronics. Why are these all fake? Did I just look up images on Google Images? Oh my gosh. Like, we got this for Toy Chica's mold. Toy Chica, I think, has the most possibility to be scary. The thing is, in the first Five Nights at Freddy's game, Freddy has black eyes like this. He has black eyes like that. And I think Bonnie has them too. In FNAF 2, this is like Chica's scariest feature of her. Everyone says it's her mouth, but I think it's her eyes. What they did in the movie is they just gave him red eyes instead of the black eyes, which is like definitely not as scary, but it worked well in the story. But I just didn't think it was as cool as the black eyes. Anywho, we are not getting any official images. Official. Yeah, none of this is official. Why are you lying to me? You're hiding from me. Anyway, this is coming out on Christmas. Freaking forever away. I probably won't even be alive when this movie comes out. It's way too ahead of my time. Anyway, Mike's awareness succumbs to the fog of the sleep. He found himself in a series of quick-take impressions. An orange toy plane flies through the air. Oh, here we go. He opened his eyes. Mike goggled at the overhead lights. They were flashing on and off with dizzying quickness. You sound like me trying to find Switch 2 stuff first few months or a few months ago. Yeah. Yep. I don't know why, man. So interesting. Did you know they leaked for FNAF's 10-year anniversary? They leaked 4 pages of the FNAF 2 script. They leaked them. I say they. It was like the official Five Nights at Freddy's account. They leaked 4 pages of the script. 3 of them were fake, and only 1 of them was real, which is really, 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 really cool. I'm not too sure which one is real. Yeah, I'm liking it. And plus, they got friggin' Jim Henson Robotics taking care of the robots for it. It's cool. It's gonna be a good movie. I think really there's nowhere else to go but up with such a simple movie like this. Yeah. What else? I was totally thinking of something. The only thing is I really hope they don't bring William Afton back for it. Because, like, that's the whole point. Is that William Afton got sprung locked. He went, he went like that. And then he was stuck in the suit. And then they find him in the 3rd game. And he's like the big bad of that game. So if he returns in the 2nd movie, kind of doesn't make too much sense. I'm fine with him coming back in flashbacks. I think he already is coming back in flashbacks because that was one set. Matthew Lillard, Fortnite, Skibidi, Fnaf. Because they did have a picture of Matthew Lillard on set of FNAF 2 in a house. Here it is. Very, very cool. And there's freaking Vanessa. Yeah, Vanessa. Listen, man. You got to understand something. So Vanessa is also a character in the games. She's a totally different character, like an entirely different individual. Like she exists in like the 2030s. And the Vanessa in the movies is in the 2000s. So it's like a totally different totally different character. They serve 2 entirely different functions. But when I tell you that both Vanessa from the games and Vanessa from the movie have awful characters, please believe me. Because they do. They're like equally terrible. And that's because they didn't plan her out all too well, which is very annoying because she plays Anna, like Elsa and Anna from in Once Upon a Time, and she does a really good job in that. But in this movie, she's kind of just like lame, I guess. All right, James Bond-Nana Part 2. James Bond-Nana. Bond-Nana. James Bond-Nana. I'm just stalling. I don't want to read. I'm just Joseph Stalin right now. Are you allowed to say that? You allowed to say that? That just kind of came out. I don't know if you're allowed to say that. That was a fart right there. And this is Fart Nights at Freddy's. Looking away from the lights, Mike slammed his palms over his ears because the lights were only half the assault on his senses. Screeching feedback was blaring from the intercom on the ceiling over the desk. Bum 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 bum. That's what it says in the book. Mike shifted his focus to the CCTV monitors. He gaped at them. That's what I imagine gaping is like. The monitors had gone haywire, Some of the screens were pulsing random flashes of colored lights. Some were streaming indecipherable lines of binary code, which were entwined around twisted, distorted images. Abruptly, a frantic 80s rock song blasted over the overhead speakers. That's right! The funny Five Nights at Freddy's song isn't even in the movie, is it? The bum bum ba-dum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum. No, it isn't. They freaking had Talking in Your Sleep, which is a banger, by the way, if not a little repetitive. I know. I'm not the biggest Talking in Your Sleep hater, but I'm not the biggest Talking in Your Sleep lover either. Anyway, throwing out an arm to steady himself, Mike knocked his pill bottles all over the floor. The cap wasn't on tight. The little white pills scattered all over the black and white linoleum. That's a reference from the beginning of the book. Abruptly, Mike's gaze shot from the pills up to the intercom. He grabbed his head with both hands. Stop! Mike yelled, even though he knew hysterics weren't going to help. But he couldn't help himself. His senses were saturated. He was totally overwhelmed. Standing, Mike spun one way and then the other. What should he do? On the verge of totally losing it, Mike got help from his memory banks. His brain provided him an inner Raglan replay. Fair warning, Raglan's voice said in Mike's head. The power can be a bit screwy. If you have any issues, you'll find the system breaker in the main office. Just give it a flip. Mike stood, staring to turn towards the circuit box. Mike did a double take. His gaze flittered towards the window in the office door. The frosted glass looked perfectly normal. Mike could see well enough through the glass to reassure himself that nothing was out there. But had it been? Mike could have sworn he'd just gotten a glimpse of one eye watching him through the glass. One eye and one eye patch. Could Mike shook his head. No way. He'd imagined it. Probably because of the dream. The rock music crescendoed. The lights started going on and off even faster. That's enough. Giving the frosted window one more glance, nothing was ever there. Mike sprinted to the breaker box. He grabbed the lever and shoved it downward. Everything went black, and the building was filled with blessed silence. Even the thunder had stopped. The red emergency bulb above the circuit box clicked on. Mike leaned back against the wall and tried to get a grip on himself. His breath was coming in ragged gasps. His pulse was so fast that it felt like a Formula One race car. Formula, one, race car. His pulse was so fast that it felt like a Formula One race car was being run in his veins. His ears were ringing from the raucous auditory assault. Mike stood in the near darkness for a few seconds. Then his skin prickled. The darkness was unfriendly, suffocating. Mike put his hand back on the lever. He shoved it upward. A comforting ka-chunk relit the office. Mike looked at the bank of fluorescent bulbs. They were dim, but they were steady. Stepping over the desk, Mike looked at the monitor. Stepping over to the desk, Mike looked at the monitor. They were back to normal. Mike exhaled loudly. His pulse began to steady itself, and an insistent buzzer revved up. Mike's pulse again. And an insistent buzzer revved up Mike's pulse again. The buzz came once, twice, 3 times. Mike exhaled loudly. His pulse began to steady itself. Oh my gosh. Mike leaned over and scanned the monitors. He frowned. Centered in the front of the entrance camera, a uniformed police officer stood in the steady rain, finger on the building's doorbell. Why does a building have a doorbell? Is it a house? Five Nights at Freddy's house theory. The thunder might have abated, but the storm was still dumping torrents of water on the pizzeria. Mike peered the wavy CCTV feed. Between the poor restoration, the rain, and the officer's hooded poncho, Mike couldn't make out the officer's face. All he could see was pale fuzziness within the hood, even when the officer looked up at the camera and waved. I don't get why they didn't go the Silver Eyes route with this. Because I'm just thinking, like why does Steve Raglan have to be a job consultant, right? Why does he have to be a job consultant? A job that puts him at the beginning of the movie to where he's not in any of the movie anymore. In the book, he's referred to all the time because it's in Mike's head, obviously. That's cool. However, in the Silver Eyes, he's just the freaking security guard of the pizzeria. That's all he is. I don't know why they didn't just make him like Mike's boss. Like, that would have made a heck of a lot more sense. It would have put him in more of the movie. He could have had a debrief with him after every night. That would have been fun. We could have actually gotten the every night phone calls from Phone Guy. And freaking Steve Raglan could have been like the day shift guy. Like, seriously, what the crap? I guess that would mean that William was paying Mike out of his own pocket, which kind of doesn't make any sense. Unless he was actually like unless he actually had his own job. But, like, come on. Ooh. That just makes so much more sense. Like, you're seriously going to get Matthew Lillard for this movie, and you're just going to sit him at a desk for a little bit at the beginning, and then you're going to put him in a bunny suit for the rest of it. Oh my gosh, this movie drives me crazy. This movie drives me crazy. I feel like a Sonic fan every single time anything happens with Sonic. It's like, oh yeah, this is so cool. But there's like so much wrong with it. Oh my Lord. Dog. Why didn't they just make him the day shift security guard? Oh my Lord. Oh my gosh. Like the head guard, you know? Jeez Louise. I was so excited that Matthew Lillard would be in the movie. And then I'm pretty sure he's in more of like the commercial for the movie than he is the actual movie. I'm sorry. I'm letting my skibbity riz out. I'm letting the skibbity riz out. I'm not being funny. I'm doing a little too much skib and a little less dibity. So I gotta bring it back a little bit. Man, I love Five Nights at Freddy's. Anywho, because like Vanessa sucks. I don't know why Vanessa's here. Or just freaking make Vanessa the head security guard. I don't know, man. I just don't like Vanessa. Like, don't put her in the movie. Please. Please. Can you please not put her in the movie? Please. Oh, fine. Whatever, man. It's kind of lame. Bracing himself for whatever was going to come next, Mike pulled open one of the pizzeria's heavy entrance doors. He peered out the rain parka-clad officer, close up in real life, instead of on an old, hazy CCTV screen. The police officer's face was clear, and it belonged to a woman. I don't believe it! A woman in the military! Oh man. Do you think Vanessa was like a real police officer? Right? Or was she just like pretending to be a police officer for that's right, grandson. A woman in the military. Bro, that's on Paramount Plus now. I need to watch that. I watched it twice in theaters. It was so good, so good. Much better than this crap. I love Five Nights at Freddy's. When are we gonna get Five Nights at Freddy's Sonic movie? That's what I'm asking. Sonic versus Five Nights at Freddy's. That wouldn't be a bad 3 a.m. video. Sonic.exe versus Five Nights at Freddy's. The female officer, it belonged to a woman. Women! Women on beer! Oh man! Oh my gosh! Women! They're putting women on beer. The female officer smiled at Mike. About time, she said in a pleasing, smooth voice. About time. I was starting to think you fell asleep on the job. I'm not gonna do that voice. I was starting to think you fell asleep on the job. Mike, still disoriented by the commotion in the office and puzzled by why a cop was at the pizzeria door, blinked at the woman like an idiot. Also, you took prescription sleep medication. You should be asleep, if not extremely drowsy right now, dude. Like, I take a melatonin and wake up 5 hours later and I feel like garbage. You take prescription sleep medication and then wake up like an hour later and you're fine? You're fine? I don't know. Maybe it's because the pizzeria is haunted. Maybe it's because the animatronics get a little quirky at night. I don't know. That might be it. He couldn't seem to get his brain to engage properly. It didn't help that the unexpected cop at the doorway was a very pretty cop. Whoa! Are you telling me we have attractive people in Five Nights at Freddy's? I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Even when Mike couldn't see the woman's hair or body under the bulky rain gear, he could see enough of her big blue eyes, her high flushed cheeks, and her wide upturned mouth to find her looks unsettling. Interesting. Mike, having had little time or insatiation to date, often got flustered when he was around a pretty woman. A pretty cop was even more muddling. But he had to say something. Mike cleared his throat and managed, can I help you, officer? Please, pulling off her rain parka. The cop brushed a few strands of streaked blonde hair from a pale face. The hair was shiny and appeared to be long, but was currently confined in some sort of twist. My name's Vanessa. Vanessa! Bro, this is actually the B movie! I was reading the B movie the whole time! You were gonna tell me this was the B movie! Twisted hair, bro. Twisted hair. The second Fnaf novel is called The Twisted Ones. I think that was a typo. It's The Twisted Hair. Twisted hair! Twisted hair. Dude, we're not even done with the first chapter. Oh, we still have chapter 10 to do. My name is D's. Let's keep going. My name's Vanessa, she said as she shook water off the parka. Dude, every single time I hear Vanessa, I just think of Jerry Seinfeld saying Vanessa. So funny. Vanessa. Water sprayed Mike's pants. It was actually pee. Mike had peed his pants because the girl was so pretty. Oh, sorry, that's a different paragraph. That's not this paragraph. Mike, water sprayed Mike's pants. He couldn't have cared less. Vanessa looked at Mike. You must be. Now that Mike could see Vanessa's sleek hair and the slender but curvy figure in her snug dark blue police uniform, he was even more tongue-tied. This is a lot more uncomfortable than I was expecting it to be. All he was capable of was more idiotic blinking. Girl, 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 police officer, girl, police officer, uh, uh, girl, 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 girl. End scene. Thank you so much. I think of Vanessa. That's right. Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking of. Is the girl from the B movie named Vanessa? Vanessa B movie. Yeah, Vanessa. I always thought she was played by Ariana Grande for the longest time. Because she sounds like Ariana Grande, but no, it's Renee Zellweger. Which is like, who even is that? Vanessa! I love it so much. Man. And you must be. Oops, sorry. And all he was capable of was more idiotic blinking. Vanessa smiled at Mike with what might have been pity. Or maybe she was just being friendly. The new security guard? She concluded. She glanced down at Mike's arm. You're bleeding, by the way. That surprised Mike, so much that he said, What? Vanessa pointed. Your arm. Mike looked down at his arm, and his mouth dropped open. It fell open so hard and so wide that his jaw might have made it to the floor. Clearly remembering his dream, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. Did that really happen? Did that really happen? Did that really happen? Emma Tammy, did that really happen? Was she talking to someone right here? And then she said, hey, your arm's bleeding. And they looked down at his arms and went, no, how does it describe it? Mike looked down at his arms. His mouth dropped open. It fell so hard and so wide, his jaw might have made it to the floor. So she said, you're bleeding, by the way. And this is Mike, too. This is Mike, the guy who's all serious all the time and doesn't care about women, and he doesn't care about anything. He just cares about getting his little brother back. He hates everyone. She goes, you're bleeding, by the way. And he does. What? Hey, hey, girl, arm, girl, arm, girl, arm, girl, arm. Just to be clear, just making sure everything's on straight. My throat is gonna want to kill me tomorrow. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. The sleeve of Mike's black shirt was cut cleanly along the forearm. The sliced fabric was soaked in blood. That looks nasty, Vanessa said. Mike suddenly felt woozy. Yeah, he said. So you're telling me this guy came off sleep medication. This guy came off sleep medication. He has lost significant amount of blood to the point to where he's starting to feel woozy. And he just had this whole conversation with this girl. Why? Anyway, it's probably remnant. That's probably what it is. It's probably what it is. It's definitely remnant. That's the answer to everything. The sliced fabric was soaked with blood. That looks nasty. Mike felt woozy. Yeah, he said. He wavered on his feet, not from blood loss or anything. The cut was long, but it didn't look that deep. He was more dazed than badly injured. While Mike made like a swaying pine tree, Vanessa took charge. She briskly stepped past Mike and started striding across the lobby. She moved as if she owned the place. Come on, Vanessa flung back over her shoulder. I know where the first aid kit is. Mike's brow bunched. She does? Well, she's perfect. She knows where the first aid kit is. She's perfect. That was the chapter, Five Nights at Freddy's. We did it. My Lord. We ain't got that though. Man, dude, I don't know. I'm just like kind of out of it right now. Yeah. Oh. James Banana. All right. That was chapter 9. I'm cool to jump into chapter 10 whenever you guys are. It is not too terribly long. Yeah, it's not too long. So we can hit it up. Real Five Nights at Freddy's know the importance of 10. That's because of the 10 Commandments. Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's. Man, I need to go do some jumping jacks or something. Oh, baby. Oh, that's what 30 minutes of reading does to you. Makes you tired, makes your bones grow. Okay, I'm going to go to the restroom. I will be right back. That's for you. All right, I'll be right back. You can look at this Domino's napkin while I'm gone. That was a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare. You should see your face. Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Our table. I got coke on my bananas. I heard you coming. No, you didn't. I was like the whole thing about Five Nights at Freddy's. You heard me coming, but you still didn't shut the doors. So I still came in the room and I still scared you. I still scared you. No, you're too distracted by dominoes to see me coming. My hair keeps straightening out like this and I look like a dork. Oh my Lord. I had to get some glasses and start going like this. Actually, it was the bite of 83, not the bite of 87, actually. This is, we need to start naming the dinosaurs. I think that'd be kind of cool. Start naming the dinosaurs. Yeah. Dude, for like the longest time before I watched Jurassic Park, the longest time, I watched Jurassic Park when I was 9. Before I watched Jurassic Park, I thought all the dinosaurs were animatronics. Because I was a dumb... Because I was like a dumb brain rot kid who only knew about like Five Nights at Freddy's. And I just thought the dinosaurs were animatronics. Not that. Did I show you this? This is kind of the coolest thing ever. Okay. Elijah. Let me show you this. You'd be interested in this. Because like you like the long lightsabers. So this is part of Balin Skull's lightsaber. This is it. So he has an elongated part down here. It's a longer hilt. Not hilt. Longer core. And then he's just got a normal sleeve. And then what I like to do is this is part of the Inquisitor lightsaber, which you can get for like really, really cheap right now. It's been out since the Obi-Wan Kenobi show came out. But this is the Inquisitor lightsaber. This is a male end. And since this is a non-electronic male end, you can fit this in here. And then you can also fit this in here. And so, not only do you have a longer lightsaber, which is like perfect. This is like my go-to lightsaber to use. It's the best. But it lights up now. It only lights up. Like it doesn't have any sounds or anything, which frankly I prefer. I like using my imagination over having the sounds. I just prefer that. Because especially with plastic lightsabers like this, even the Disney ones, the sounds are usually delayed and they just aren't as cool. Anyway, yeah, it is sweet. We got Five Nights at Freddy's to read. Let us nary be wasteful of our time here on Earth. Let's read Five Nights at Freddy's. And then I'm hoping to leave here at 8:30. Get some din-din. Hopefully. If not, after all, you only got Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh, is this where you want to be? I just don't get it. Oh, why do you want to stay? Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh, is this where you want to be? I just don't get it. Oh, why do you want to stay? Five Nights at Freddy's. Anyway, quote, I love what you've done with the place, Vanessa said. Fumbling with the roll of gauze, Mike glanced over at her. She stood on the other side of the office, examining his pieced together poster. Why Nebraska? She asked. When Mike didn't answer, Vanessa looked back at him. She watched him struggle to wrap the gauze around his injured arm. Need a hand with that? She asked. I'm fine, Mike said. Really? And then a laugh track played. Mike looked down at the mess he was making with the gauze that Vanessa had pulled from the kit that had been stashed in the bottom drawer of one of the filing cabinets. He was pretty sure a 2-year-old could have done a better job at wrapping his wound. He sighed. Clearly, this was not something he could do on his own, because he's 5 years old. Flushing, Mike held out his arm toward Vanessa. She grinned and crossed to the desk, perching on the edge of the desk near the VCR. She leaned over and removed the tangled mess Mike had made with the gauze. And it's like wholesome anime music that's playing behind this. So just imagine that, like wholesome Ninjago, like Nia and Jay music playing in the background right now. like the what season is it? Hold on, no, I got this. Shut up. Season 1, season 2. Season 3 is the robots. Season 4 is the island. Season 5. Is season 5 air? Is season 5 like the Jinn? The Jinn? Is season 5 the Jinn? Elijah! Season 6, dang it! Is season 5 ghosts? Is season 5 ghosts? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was the it's the weirdest thing. I like that special too. The special they had where Cole turned into a ghost. Or he turned into a human with ghost powers, right? He became Danny Phantom. Wait a minute. Cole turned into Danny Phantom. It's not funny. It's just weird. Anywho, I'm actually very surprised at the amount of times they say Mike Schmidt in this book. They say it all the time. Vanessa, Mike discovered, was very good smelling. I did not read that right. Vanessa, Mike discovered, smelled very good. Was it her perfume, her shampoo, or lotion? Whatever it was nice. A combination of something flowery along with vanilla and apples. This is an adaptation. This is a book adaptation of the movie. I don't need to know how a woman smells. Thank you very much. I would rather not know how a woman smells. Thank you. I'd prefer not to know how a woman smells. If they didn't tell me it in the movie, unless it's like something really, really cool, I would rather you not tell me how a woman smells. Elijah agrees with me. I don't want to know how she smells. Could you imagine? The book was like, Mike discovered smelled very good. Was it her perfume or lotion? Whatever it was nice. A combination of dead possums along with rotten eggs and sulfur. That's what the book says. I read it wrong the first time. That's what the book says. Mike has a very odd taste and good smells. Vanessa, Vanessa began wrapping his arm effectively. Her movements were quick and precise. Mike hoped she couldn't hear his heartbeat. It quickened with her cool, soft fingers brushing against his skin. Gross. While she worked, Vanessa started talking at a rapid-fire pace. I'm certified EMT, you know. Sorry. Mike, I'm certified EMT, actually. I did that first before I decided I'd rather be a cop. I don't do rescue runs anymore, but if your heart ever gives out, I'm the one you want to call. assuming you could still speak and hold the phone, actually. That's what Vanessa looks like. Because she's a rabbit. She's a bunny. So she looks like this all the time. She looks like that. Vanessa spoke so quickly that her words ran together. Mike had trouble keeping up. Her hands flew over his arms, too. She was acting almost manic. Nonplussed by pretty much everything about this unexpected cop, Mike was mostly perplexed by her familiarity with the pizzeria. So, he said, you seem to know your way around. Vanessa's fingers jittered against the bandage, which was almost complete. She spoke quickly. Freddy's on my Freddy. Five Nights at Freddy's. She just said Five Nights at Freddy's. That's very weird. Oh my lord! Vanessa's fingers jittered against the bandage, which was almost complete. She spoke quickly again. Freddy's on my beat. I like to stay well informed. Freddy's on my beat. Freddy's on my beat. Freddy, I like to stay well informed. She looked up and gazed around. I also loved this place when I was a kid. Freddy's on my beat. What does that mean? Wait, hold on, Elijah. I need you to help me decipher this. So it's capital F, Freddy's, apostrophe S, on my beat, period. Freddy's on my beat. What does that mean? Freddy's on my beat. I can't even think of like a joke for that. What's Freddy? What does Freddy's on my beat mean? Freddy's on my beat. What? Freddy's on my beat. Freddy's on my beat. What? Freddy. Oh. Freddy's is on my beat. Radar. Oh. Well, they already spell. It's not like the book is called Five Nights at Freddy's with an apostrophe S or anything. Apologies for me for assuming the Freddy's was a possessive rather than a verbal Freddy's. Freddy's is. It's kind of dumb, but yeah, Freddy's is on my beat. Now that you mention that, I think she did say it in the movie. I don't know, man. Freddy's on my beat. Oh, it's that's the Kendrick Lamar song. He goes, Freddy's on my beat. Vanessa playing at the Pepsi halftime show. It's hilarious. Sometimes I crack myself up. I have some black pencils I need to get in the morning. Dog, have you used those freaking black pencils? Oh my gosh, I love them so much. They're like the best kind of pencils. Anywho, Freddy's on my beat. Freddy's on my beat. She looked up and gazed around. I also loved this place when I was a kid. Vanessa tugged on the gauze, tightening it. Really tightening it. Mike grunted. That should do it, Vanessa said. She patted his upper arm. Then she pushed off the desk and stood. Sorry, I'm just trying to find my place. She extended a hand. Vanessa, Shelley, she grinned. Might as well finish our meet cute. Aw, they're meeting. They're having a meet cute. They're having a meet cute. They're having a meet cute. I didn't realize that. It's not like you told me how Mike noticed how pretty the girl was, how attractive he found her, and the shape of her body, and how beautiful her smell was. This was a meet cute. This was a meet cute. No. No, are you kidding me? This. Oh my gosh. I see it now. I get it. I really do. I get it now. This book sucks. I was wondering if it was going to get worse when Vanessa showed up, but it kind of is. Kind of is worse. Like the way this is written feels like the fake meet cute that Hans and Anna have in Frozen. Like how it happens so freaking fast and they share a song together. Freddy's on my beat. Freddy's on my beat. Anyway, might as well finish our meet cute. Mike blinked at Vanessa. Mike blinked at Vanessa. She laughed. Just kidding. But seriously. Oh my lord. She's like, I'm in love with you. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's not real. That's actually fake. Let's see if we can do this. Vanessa Shelley, she repeated. Mike was a little reluctant to take her hand. She was such a powerhouse that he wouldn't be surprised if she somehow lost his hand in the process of shaking hers. She's so strong. Mike took Vanessa's hand. She shook it twice, vigorously, and he said, Mike Schmidt. Pleasure to meet you, Mike, Vanessa said, squeezing his hand before she let it go. She stepped back and looked up the intercom before returning her gaze to Mike's face. Pleasure to meet you, Mike. My name is Dees. Interesting. It's very weird. Then Mike says, oh, my name is Jeff. Whoa. How interesting. Unnervingly, speaking in a totally different tone of voice, Vanessa says, so, are you doing all right this evening? Mike? Gone was the breakneck, light chatter. Her tone was measured and low. All cup. Mike fidgeted as Vanessa's eyes narrowed. She seemed to be studying him with suspicion. What the hell? Not sure how to respond to the out of the blue hard right turn. Mike could only say, Vanessa's eyes narrowed even more. A muscle at her strong jawline twitched. Are you all right? She repeated more slowly, as if speaking to a person with the IQ of 10. As in, are you okay? Are you cool? Is everything copacetic? Huh? Mike crossed his arms, ignoring the pain in his left forearm. I know what all right means, he said. Vanessa's demeanor flipped again. She smiled brightly and began speaking quickly once more. Hey, that's great. Still talking fast, she dropped the smile as she continued. Did you also know that your eyes are bloodshot and your pupils are dilated and your heart rate is through the roof? All of this is aside from the gash in your arm, which is, let's be honest, it's pretty dang bizarre. She's John Wick now. Yeah, I say I'm back. And you've been acting shifty and suspicious since the moment you opened that door. Did you know that too? Mike stared at Vanessa, open mouthed. It's up. Vanessa put her hands on her utility belt. The leather creaked. Yes, she pulled out her gun and shot Mike in the face. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, bang. Oh, that's not right. The leather creaked. Yes, she said, with the mock tolerance. Mike sighed. What was the right way to go here? He couldn't tell her about his dream, obviously. Maybe he should be honest, to the point. It's been a really, really weird night, he said. Vanessa tapped her blunt. Whoa! Whoa! Bro! I didn't know Vanessa was weed. What? What? Vanessa tapped her blunt, unpolished nails on her baton. That's gross. She eyed Mike for a long, disconcerting moment. Was that moment disconcerting enough? Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back at 3 a.m. Then something invisible flipped a switch. Vanessa's cop mode deactivated. She flashed a wide, warm smile at Mike and said airily, "Sounds like Freddy's." And then a laugh track plays. Mike was now totally mystified. What did she mean by that? Mike's befuddlement must have shown on his face. Vanessa let out a short laugh and waved an arm to indicate the buildings around them. This place, it gets to people. Vanessa leaned toward Mike. That's why you're going to quit. The light tone was gone again. She was cop serious. Mike felt like he was being spun on a merry-go-round. What? Vanessa nodded twice. Her voice returned to cheerleader springly. Oh yeah, you security hires never last long here. It's like a fact. Because they all die and her dad kills all of them. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. Mike had no idea what to make of that. The only thing he could think to say was, maybe I'm different. Maybe I'm dreaming. That's the Owl City album. Maybe I'm Dreaming turned 17 2 days ago. What's the where's the streamer button on my soundboard here? Yay! Maybe I'm Dreaming is a good album. It's a good album, dang it. Anywho. Vanessa studied Mike. Her eyes darkened. What? And her face went still. She looked like she'd fallen down a deep, dark rabbit hole of introspection. Then the dark Vanessa clouds cleared. The sun came to her face. She beamed at Mike. So have you met him? Met who? Them, Vanessa said. You know, Freddie, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy. Mike gasped at her. Vanessa smiled at his cluelessness. She turned toward the door, then looked back at Mike and motioned for him to follow her. Come on, she said. The dining room was dim, but its lights were on. Strangely, when Vanessa had used the light switch near the archway, it had hardly worked. It had worked. Hey! Hey! Even in better light, though, the dining room was still not one of Mike's favorite places. There was something haunting about the open space, the trash, the children's drawings, and the expanse of crusty red stage curtain. Vanessa didn't seem to be bothered by any of the things that made Mike's skin crawl. She strode confidently and purposefully towards the stage. Mike trailed behind her, hanging back enough to soothe himself, but not far enough to look like a total coward. Attempting to distract himself from his nerves, Mike called to her. So, what are the other reasons? Vanessa glanced over her shoulder. Huh? You said I'd quit because this job will get to me, among other reasons, he reminded her. What reasons? Vanessa stopped. They'd reached the stage, and she now stood in front of the main stage. Mike sidled away from it, ending up in front of a small purple curtain stage. Vanessa faced Mike. She put her hands on her hips. Something flashed in her eye. Annoyance? Challenge? You tell me, she said. Is this where you see yourself in 10 years? How about 20 years? Look down the line. What do you see? I mean, what do I know? Maybe the benefits are great. Pension? 401k? I don't know what any of that means. I make 3am videos. Mike felt like he got whiplash every time Vanessa spoke. Yeah, me too. It's almost like bad writing or something. I don't know. Even though the pendulum pace of his interaction with her was giving him a headache, he laughed. Vanessa smiled. Didn't think so. She cocked her head. Add to that the thing with those kids going missing. What? Vanessa smiled. Didn't think so. She cocked her head. Add to that the thing with those kids going missing. It felt like Vanessa had just kicked Mike in the solar plexus. He struggled to get his next breath. What did you just say? He asked. Vanessa acted like she hadn't heard the question. Walking away from Mike, she strode to the wall and stood in front of the red Showtime button. Prepare to have your mind blown. I'll keep reading, don't worry. Vanessa sucks. I hate Vanessa! It should have just been William Afton. Honestly, though. Vanessa's like the, we have William Afton at home. Vanessa hit the big red button. The instant she did, it felt like a dozen things happened at once. The first thing to get Mike's attention was the swish of the purple curtains. They swung apart, and Mike yelped and scuttled backwards. You! The pirate fox animatronic was lurching forward out of the darkness. It shot to the edge of the stage, just inches from where Mike had just been standing. At the same time, the main curtains reeled open. The entire room was suddenly lit up with psychedelic colors. Floodlights came on, shooting blinding streaks of colored lights towards the stage. Also, simultaneously, a rousing 80s rock song began thumping from the overhead speakers. Mike recognized it immediately. It was the same song he'd heard in the office when all hell was breaking loose. The deranged looking fox that had nearly scared the pants off Mike started jerking around in a spasmodic dance. Mike was mesmerized by the convulsive motions. He especially couldn't take his eyes off the gleaming silver hook, which cut through the air over and over as the fox gyrated. When the fox looked down at Mike, or at least it seemed like the fox looked at him, Mike finally moved. He stepped over to join Vanessa, who now stood center on at the base of the main stage. Mike looked up at the stage, and there they were, the rest of the characters Mike had seen in the poster. The yellow chick with the cupcake, the blue bunny with the electric guitar. Interesting. The brown bear with the bow tie and top hat. Mike put all the names to the toothy smiled faces. Foxy, Chica, Bonnie, Freddy, rocking out. His gaze locked on the hopping and twirling animatronics. Mike couldn't decide whether to be entertained, repulsed, or sympathetic. The display was at once fascinating, disgusting, and sad. Maybe When they'd been in their heyday, bright and pristine, in all their glory, the animatronics might have been fun to watch. Now, however, the fox fur covered robotic animals were filthy and molted. The fur, which was rotting, was riddled with holes, and through those holes, the metal endoskeletons beneath were rusting. Wires poked out of the gaps in the fur, and the animatronics mechanisms made chunky, glitchy, whirring noises. Bonnie's electric guitar was faded, battered, and bent. Interesting. This is Mike tried. The best thing you've ever seen in your life? Vanessa filled in. Mike shook his head. I was going to say deeply traumatic. What the crap? All right. Vanessa shot a look at Mike. He shrugged. Vanessa returned the shrug, and she held out a hand. Want to dance? This lady is like, this is she's very, very weird. She's very, very weird. Mike stared at Vanessa's hand. Was she serious? He wasn't going to find out because while he tried to work out an answer to her question, a burst of sparks exploded from Bonnie's guitar. At the same time, the music sputtered and screeched to a jarring stop. Red hot and bursting with bright colors, sparks spewed from the stage as a few of the sizzling bites of heat hit the black and white checked dining room floor. The floodlights were out. Then the whirling lights were gone. The curtains began to close. Agog, Mike couldn't take his eyes off the suddenly rigid animatronics. His gaze went from one to the other, landing finally on Five Nights at Freddy's. The curtains were sweeping together in front of the bear. As they did, Freddy's gaze seemed to shift. It appeared as if the bear was staring directly at Mike. The curtains finished closing. Mike shivered. Surely the animatronics couldn't have been making eye contact. They weren't sentient, were they? They are. They're actually possessed. Hey, Mike. They actually are. They actually are. They actually are. They have ghosts. Mike, they are sentient. They actually have ghosts. Mike, they actually are. They have ghosts. They are. Mike, they have ghosts, actually. Just letting you know. Oh, man. Interesting. Maybe next time, Vanessa said. Mike pulled his gaze from the closed curtains. He looked at Vanessa. She was expressionless. He couldn't read her. Vanessa headed toward the archway. Mike started to follow her, but he felt compelled to check the closed curtains again. They remained shut, but they swayed back and forth ever so slightly. Now that all the bright lights were out, the curtains were engulfed in shadow. Mike felt goosebumps on his arms. He rubbed them, and the gestures brought back what Vanessa had said earlier. Hurrying after Vanessa, who was still heading towards the lobby, Mike called out, "You said some kids went missing?" Vanessa stopped. She turned and looked at Mike. She cocked her head as if she found Mike interesting, or maybe dense. "Sure," she said. "Back in the 80s. What happened to them?" Mike asked. Vanessa crossed her arms. It was big news. She made a face that Mike couldn't interpret. "It's why the place shut down," she explained. Mike felt like the floor under his feet was falling away. "Why?" Glancing at his face, Vanessa said, "Wow, you really didn't do your homework, did you?" She looked up and down as if in mocking disapproval. Or maybe her disapproval was real. She shook her head. "And you're not even going to wear your badge?" "Huh? Badge? What badge?" Mike was pretty sure Vanessa had seen his face arranged in expressions of total vapid ignorance, more than pretty much anyone he'd ever met before. And that was saying a lot. Raising an eyebrow at him, she motioned for him to follow her as she veered from the arch and headed far to the far side of the dining area. Skirting around the overturned table and a pile of chairs, Vanessa led him into the arcade. Their footsteps had made little purring and tisking sounds as their feet scuffed over the dusty floor and kicked aside debris. The dry smell of dust mushroomed up around them. At the front edge of the arcade, a long, thick with dust glass counter enclosed the display of decrepit game prizes. Mount, Mounds of moldy, limp, faded plush animals lay pathetically next to the cluster of cracked plastic toys and crusty, Freddy paraphernalia. Mike spotted hats and mugs with pendants and rings and figurines and posters. When they reached the counter, Vanessa went behind it and slid open the cabinet door with a tap and a whoosh. She reached into the conglomeration of wasted prizes. Mike cringed as her fingers kicked up dusty green spores and tossed aside what looked like colorful dead baby animals. Bro, they have animals in Five Nights at Freddy's? This is crazy. He wanted to tell her to stop what she was doing. It was too disconcerting. Before Mike could speak, Vanessa pulled her hand out of the display. Got it, she said triumphantly. She held a red plastic tub filled with play badges. Mike took a step closer and looked at them. The plastic emblem read Freddy's Honorary Security. Vanessa plucked one of the badges from the tub and stepped over to Mike. Smoothing the vest that, in spite of everything that had happened tonight, he still wore, Vanessa pinned the badge to it. Vanessa patted Mike's shoulder, then she stepped back. Her gaze lifted to his face and then dropped again. There, she said in a tone that came across oddly resigned. Now you're official. Whatever. The words sounded tired. Her tone dropped at the end of the sentence. Vanessa seemed to be almost sad. Why? Mike opened his mouth to ask what was upsetting her, but before any words came out, the beep 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 of his watch alarm cut through the moment. It acted like a thrown bucket of cold water, putting a harsh end to the night. Vanessa looked at her own watch. Mike knew it would read 6 a.m. That's what his alarm was set for. Looks like our time is up, Vanessa said. She gave Mike a weirdly somber smile. Come on, let's go get your stuff. I'll walk you out. The storm had finally thrown in the towel. Flat ashen clouds lay suspine over the pizzeria, as if spent and depleted. Between the narrow gaps in the clouds, a hint of day is coming. Sun, oh my gosh! Between a narrow gap in the clouds, a hint of day's coming sun sindled over the tops of distant trees, casting surreal golden light over the wet black sheen of the pizzeria parking lot's broken asphalt. Mike's car door was protesting its required movement with a clunking groan when an engine's drone and a swish hiss of tires rolling through shallow rain puddles turned Mike around. Vanessa's black and white cruiser rolled to a stop behind him. She lowered her window. If you want, Vanessa called out, I can check in from time to time. I know how lonely these nights can get. Mike kept his face neutral. But inwardly, he cringed. He liked Vanessa, even though her fickle personality made his head spin. The last thing he needed, though, was her dropping in unannounced. It would totally mess up his nighttime routine. Mike realized Vanessa was watching him with the bemused quirk of the lips and raised eyebrow. He spoke quickly. I keep myself busy. Vanessa left her gaze on him for several long, inscrutable seconds. Then she shrugged. Some friendly advice. She narrowed her eyes. Don't let this place get to you. Just do your job and you'll be fine. Vanessa's intense stare and hesitation before the word fine landed on Mike like a physical blow. Not a hard one. More like a warning tap, a shot across the bow. It felt like Vanessa's words were more threat than advice. Ignoring the tightening in his gut, "Oh," Mike said lightly. Sounds good. Vanessa gave Mike a friendly wave. There was that flip-flop again. Mike couldn't keep up. Then she raised her window. She looked straight ahead and drove out of the parking lot. Mike watched the cruiser's taillights for a couple seconds before getting in his car. As he started to close the car door, which let out a large grinding sound, he thought he caught a hint of movement by the pizzeria. Mike leaned forward to look through his windshield. Unfortunately, he couldn't see much. Leaves and pine needles were stuck to the wet glass, and Mike's view of the restaurant was obscured. He hesitated as he considered whether he should get out of the car and go investigate. As quickly as Mike thought about checking out what he thought he'd seen, he dismissed the idea. The building was locked up tight. He was tired, and his arms hurt. Mike turned the ignition 4 times. Finally, the car started. He cleared the windshield with wipers, and he looked toward the slovenly building again. It was still. Mike shrugged. His mind must have been just winding him up again. That's chapter 10. My name is Deez. Oh, we're going to do it in sub 2 hours. Yes! We haven't gone over 2 hours yet. All right, I'm going to end this real quick. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry there weren't more. I'm sorry there weren't more jump scares in this video. I know how much you guys like Five Nights at Freddy's jump scares, but unfortunately there weren't any. So I guess I'll just see you guys